Hey, I have a quick question for you. How much weight should you give Zillow's Zestimate when it comes to pricing your house? Stay here for just a couple seconds, and I'll give you that answer. Okay, guys, hey, it's Jon Eborn with Signature Real Estate. How are you? I missed my Monday, 1 minute on Mondays because I was so sick. Oh my gosh, I had that flu that's going around right now. So it's Wednesday. We're going to do we'll call it a weekly wisdom on Wednesdays. How about that? Yeah, just thought of that. Okay, so question comes up all the time. Zillow says my house is worth $1 million. So let's price it at $1 million. I want to ask this question: how much weight should you give what Zillow says your house is worth to what it's really worth? And let me walk you through a little exercise so you can see that. Zillow is going to tell you that their Zestimates are accurate within 1.9% or so. They don't actually publish the information for Salt Lake City, but a comparable market like Denver, who's been pretty hot like we are, they say they're in that 1.5 to 2% Zillow range or accuracy range. Yeah, I'm going to eye roll, because that's not even close. The reality of it is, and I know this because every time I list a property, every single time, I go through an analysis and say, what did this comparable home next to it sell for, and what did the Zillow price say that it was worth at the time? I go through that exercise, and I come up with a number. And it's never less than 3, 4, 5%. Sometimes there's a difference. And it could be either way. Zillow could be say your house is worth more, or it could say your house is worth less. But sometimes there's a swing of 30% because Zillow doesn't have the correct information. Very, very often Zillow has the wrong information on your house because they're pulling it from county records or they're aggregating it from another source. They don't have it. So you can't just rely only on the Zillow estimate to know what the value of your house is. You have to really go through an exercise to look at that. So I'm going to show you a couple things real quick. Again, keep in mind, Zillow's going to tell you what they're in a couple percentage points. The reality of it is, like, look at this listing. I'm going to show you a comparative market analysis. When somebody asks me to come out and list their home, the very first thing that we do is I look at what homes have sold recently in the neighborhood that are comparable. And by comparable, I mean same style, sold in the last 90 days, sometimes even shorter than 90 days, depending on how crazy the market is at that time. This last summer, it was more like 30 days. And the square footage and comparable lot sizes, and I pull out any aggregating factors like something that could be on a busy street or something that's going to deplete the value of the property. I take all those things into account. And then the process of doing an appraisal or competitive market analysis. So we do kind of the same thing an appraiser does. Appraisers are pros and they do it at a deeper level. But for a competitive market analysis, we do the same thing, which is we take all the data on your house, all the information, the real information that we have, and we compare that to a home like yours that sold. And usually I do this on 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 homes that have sold just like yours. And what we do is we try to make the homes that have sold look just like yours, meaning if you have one more garage, we add a garage to that price. Now, knowing how much money to add to the value of your house based on the value of that garage is part art, part science, right? That comes with experience. You can't just throw a number out there. And it's not just a square footage number. If somebody gives you just a square footage number, it doesn't make any sense because the square footage of a 2-story is way different than the square footage value of a Rambler. The square footage of a split level is way different than the square footage of a Rambler. There's a whole bunch of things that have to be taken into account there. So you can't just use square footage, which frankly is what Truly and Zillow and all these other companies do, is they really just base it on square footage. They don't have the ability AI style to go look at it deeper than that or make those decisions on a market by market, neighborhood by neighborhood level. And they also don't know things like, hey, if you're on this side of 13th East in Salt Lake City, it's worth this much money. If you're on the east side, it's worth this much more. Same with 7th, same with State. If you're in this specific section of Sandy, it's going to be worth a little bit more money because if this home had a view, it's going to be worth a little bit more money because it doesn't take any of those things into account. And if you're pricing your home properly, you have to take those things into account, right? So this is why I always caution people, don't get too fired up about Zillow yet. And let me show you a couple things really quickly. So yeah, Zillow says you're within a couple percentage points, but look at this. This is just a sample from a market analysis I did here a little while ago with somebody that when we went and looked at their house, look at the difference in the prices between what homes actually sold for and what at that time, Zillow said their house was worth. You're going to see a massive difference. Now look, if it's a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8% difference, Holy smokes, think about that for a minute. If you have an $800,000 house and you're at a 5% difference, that's a $40,000 difference in price. If you overprice your home by $40,000, even in this hot seller's market, and yeah, the market's cooled down just a little bit, but even in this market, it's going to really negatively impact your ability to maximize the number of eyeballs on your home, the number of showings through the home. The more showings you have, the more offers you get. The more offers you get, the more competition, the higher price it is. The more offers you get, the more money that you end up putting in your pocket. But a $40,000 or $60,000 or $80,000 price mistake is going to be huge, huge in your ability or your inability to drive the amount of traffic to the home that you need to. So, most important thing you do is this. You don't just look at the Zestimate. You look at the Zestimate in relationship to what the property's actually sold for. If they're very comparable properties, meaning same style, same location, they sold in the last 90 days, sometimes 30 days actually. If they're under contract, if there's nothing functionally obsolete about the home, if they really are a true comparable to your house, you look at what that sold for based on the Zestimate in relationship to the Zestimate during that time, and you can get a pretty accurate idea of what's going to happen. Now, things might have changed. If interest rates went up last week, the buyer pools dropped a little bit. If you're slightly over the jumbo price range and these comparables, if your home's at 620 and jumbo price range is at 630 and you're thinking about seeing it at 640, being at over jumbo loan range is going to impact the number of buyers that can buy your home because it takes more money down to be able to do that. There's all these little mitigating factors you have to think about when you price your home. That's why you want a pro to come in and help you. So whether you're going to sell your home with an agent, you're going to sell your home on your own, call me, have me come out. I'll do a market analysis for you. No obligation, no drama, no pressure. If you decide you want to sell your home on your own, great. I'm going to support her of that. If you can make it happen, that's great. If you decide you want to hire an agent, for sure hire an agent that knows how to price the property. Okay? So I just wanted to share that with you really quickly, a little weekly wisdom on Wednesdays. I hope you guys have a phenomenal week. Remember, life is great. It's exactly what you make of it. Go out and have a great week, okay? Talk to you guys soon. Bye.